are back. We are back. We are back. With Trailblazing for Success, we have a fabulous guest with us, and that is Renu Hooda, who is the Chief People Officer at Credera. And we're going to hear a lot more about what Cradera is and who they serve, who their ideal clients are. And we're going to dig in a little bit with Renu about her background as well. So welcome, Renu.
Welcome, Renu.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you. Yes. Yay. Thank you, Bruce and Gail, for having me here. I'm super excited to be here and get to connect with your audiences today.
Awesome. Well, it is a pleasure having you, Huda. What we'd like to start with, I said Huda.
You did.
I did.
It's a pleasure having you, Renu.
In college, everybody called me Huda because they were.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, so it's completely appropriate to go by. Actually, in high school as well, because I grew up in India. So there were multiple Renus. You know how there's John Smiths in America?
Yes.
In my class, there were multiple Renus. So I went by Huda all the time. So
I did that by accident.
Oh my gosh.
And totally killed it.
It's like you knew.
I just killed that.
Yeah.
For the record, we are thriving in uncertainty right now.
Yeah, very much so.
So that's working.
So Renu, let me ask you a question now that I've screwed up your name. So Renu, give us a little bit about how you got to Cradera, kind of your background. I think it's really fascinating, and I think our viewers would love to know about it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bruce. So I've been only at Credera. Credera is a consulting company. We're part of Omnicom, which is one of the largest advertising companies. And so what Credera does is we tackle super complex problems when it comes to your technology, your data, and your strategy. And we partner with our clients to really create long-lasting positive impact on our clients' business. So I got to Credera about 13 months ago, which some days feels like 13 years. Some days it feels like 13 days. And I never wanted to be a chief people officer. So the whole journey took me here as I grew up. My major was applied mathematics and science. I started my career as an actuary, and then I went into compensation. Just anything I realized that I wanted to leave this world as a better place. And so it's like, if people are getting paid well and fairly, that feels good. I'm making a positive impact into corporate America. So that's how I got into it. Never wanted to be a chief people officer. But then I had a CEO who said, hey, I really would need your help because somebody on his team was going on mat leave. And I was like, you don't want me on your team because I'm going to probably challenge you. I'm going to ask you questions. I'm not those HR people that's going to be a note taker. So he was like, nope, that's exactly what I need. And so in those 3 months, I realized, wait, HR can be a lot more than just let me just deliver what the CEO and CFO wants. If we truly partner with each other, we can transform the business together. So the moment that light bulb went on, is like, I can impact actually the full experience of our employee, not just the compensation. Sign me up. So that's how I got into Chief People Officer. I joined Credera because when I met our leadership team, one of the values is people first. And I was like, I don't have to spend time selling what I'm trying to do for our people. I can just do stuff, sign me up. And that's how I joined Credera.
I love that. I love that so much. And one of the things that you just said is a huge thing for me because I also worked in human resources in AIG at an insurance company. And I hired actuaries, by the way, back in the day. You're a lot more bubbly and engaging than the typical actuary, I must say. And also,
that's why I couldn't do that job.
I'm really grateful that there are people out there that love math like that and can see things and analyze and predict things that I am not capable of doing. So there's that. I really love how you said, do more than taking notes. And I think what we're seeing, what I've been wanting to see for a long time, and I feel like we're finally seeing is that the chief people officer has a seat at the table and a voice at the table, and also a voice in strategy and vision, as opposed to just being there because it matters. And you are such an integral part of the culture and the wellness of the productivity of the people that work there, as well as the connections that they make, the education and training they get, et cetera. So tell us, when you talk about, the partner that Credera is for people that have, businesses that have kind of complex projects, What do you think is the thing that sets Credera apart from other organizations that claim they help with transformation in that way?
I mean, it's our people, right? It's our people that we hire people that are aligned with our values, which is it's not about me. It's about us as a team that we're going to deliver for the client. It isn't about if it's this function or that function. It's about us as a team coming together to deliver for you. And then it's also about integrity. What we say, what we're going to do is we're going to actually do it. We're not selling you something that's not real, because there are so many times people upsell their clients, which we're not in the business of. So when you put your team before you and you deliver and you take pride in your work product and you do it with integrity and pride, I think that's why our work product shines a lot more than anybody else's. And that's why Credera keeps winning when we show up into pitches against our competitors.
I love that. And real quick, because I know Bruce has a question coming up, you made me think of something we talk about often, which is comparing business teams to sports teams and how incredible sports teams are with their ability to practice and to be a team, right? And you see when they aren't, when someone's a little bit of a superstar and kind of goes off on their own and does their own thing and is all about them, how it becomes less of that cohesive, collaborative, winning team who can show up and get things done. And I think the same applies in business as well.
I totally agree.
For sure.
Renu, what are you seeing as I mean, look, the world is changing rapidly, especially with AI, especially with new technologies coming down the pipeline. What from a people perspective are you seeing as, boy, these are the things that we're going to need to really focus on, or the skills that we're going to really need to focus on as these changes kind of continue to model their way out?
That's a good question.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in the AI and technology world, the human factor has to be the constant. So you can get some of your tasks that are very repetitive. You can get AI, and the reviewing of things can get done by AI. But adding that human element, the creativity, that's, I think, we're teaching our people to just challenge the status quo, which AI may not. They're going to just respond to whatever you're asking. It's based on the prompts you're making, asking them to do. Whereas humans can think for themselves and sort of can be a few steps ahead of it. So how do we get our people to bring that curiosity to the table, the creativity to the table, and that connection with each other that elevates us all up? So that's what we are really focusing on, and honing in those human skills for our people. Technical skills, we're teaching them as we go along the way.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I was thinking, we've been talking to a lot of people about the impact that AI has been having and what skills they're seeing is kind of bubbling up to being the necessary things people need to have. And more our clients and our friends and just people we work with in business have been saying that soft skills are hard skills now. And that, it is one thing to know how to code and create a good prompt. And it is another to be able to think creatively, to work collaboratively, and to lean into the curiosity instead of certainty about where you are to help propel your business forward.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, this is uncertain. We're constantly in uncertain times, right? That's the one thing is we know is constant is uncertainty. So how do we get our people to embrace that uncertainty? How do we make sure that our people don't fear the change and they're really embracing and working and building on it together?
Well, and I mean, obviously that's the challenge, right? Human behavior is to fear change, right? Human behavior, the brain goes, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to do that. I don't want to combine anything with that. I don't want to be alone with that. I'm just scared of that. And it's amazing how difficult it can be, especially from a leadership perspective, to get people going in that direction of fear and uncertainty.
But I mean, I think, Bruce, you have to ask in those times, like, why do people fear change? And 9 out of 10 times, and sometimes 10 out of 10 times, it's not having the clarity. It's not having that connection, not having that communication of what's happening, why is it happening, why me? Like, so it's our job as leaders to really be that calm in the chaos and bring that certainty to people, bring that sort of clarity. We may not have all the answers, but say, this is where we're going. So let's just take the right next step and do the next right thing and then build on it. And you don't need to boil the ocean today. And hopefully that eases the people, gives them the purpose, gives them the overall focus that we're working towards.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So we recently led a session about communicating across generations.
Mm.
And it was so fascinating because, in the research that we've done and the work that we've put together, the content we've put together, what we've discovered is change affects the generations very differently. Some younger brains and younger minds are excited and they might lean into it. They want change more often.
Mm-hmm.
And older generations, they actually are fine with change as long as exactly what you said, they have clarity behind what's happening and why, and they get support to get from this point A to point B in a successful way, knowing that it's iterative and they're going to learn along the way. So I find that so fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like if you've experienced change for many more years, like that sort of builds, you become a bit more resistance to it. It's like, oh, I can handle this a little bit better because we've been here before.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy too. The brain is, because a lot of the work that we do is kind of steeped in neuroscience. Bruce geeks out quite a bit on that,
Quite a bit.
and we do love finding new studies that kind of help us understand the brain better. And I just think it's so nice sometimes just to know, like, oh,
Yeah.
this is just my brain pushing back because of fear or lack of clarity, or I don't know what my role is in this, or am I getting squeezed out, am I no longer valuable? So important to kind of understand where those feelings are coming from, and that it's physiological. And that's a powerful thing to know.
From a leadership perspective, Renu, what are you excited about? Especially, you assuming this leadership role at Credera and kind of what's coming down the pipeline for you and your organization. What's got you really jazzed?
I mean, I'm first of all, like, I'm super excited about my team. Like, we've just gone into this rhythm. It's taken us a little bit of a time, but we've finally in the rhythm of all of us know what everybody's doing and how we're really gelling together and supporting each other. And really, we're going to grow together, learn together, and fail together. And I think everybody is sort of signed up for that. And I'm excited about the team. Then I'm excited about where Credera is headed. I think we're in this AI, given that we've been focusing on technology for our clients for so long, we're at the forefront of it. So helping our clients transform their business and being that backbone for them, that's pretty exciting place to be in. And on third bit is Omnicom is just in its public news is acquiring IPG, and I come from IPG. So being part of that huge acquisition and leading through that change and bringing, it's going to be a massive business. So we got really exciting things in the pipeline from a business and M&A and our people, and from my team, our L&D teams, the work that they're doing in terms of really helping our leaders grow. So our 2025 is going to be pretty rocking a year for Credera.
That's
awesome.
Great. I'm curious, are you finding yourself starting to embrace HR-based AI tools, or are there things that you're starting to integrate that maybe you haven't used in the last year or so that are new on the market?
We're doing some basic stuff in it. We've gone not to the next level yet because we do need to get our foundation right. So right now we're focusing on getting some of the foundational work, getting our cleaning up of our data. We have Credera is part of 5 different acquisitions that came together. Oof. And all 5 acquisitions were on different technologies. So we're sort of figuring out what is our technology platforms from a L&D to TA to our HR experience. So right now we're in the foundational and discovery phase of that. And then working as IPG joins Omnicom, I'm sure that will be another transformation of what is our baseline data and then build on that. So I think we're working towards it, but we're not there just yet.
I guess this is the advantage of being a management consulting firm inside of the company. You guys get to establish and drive that strategy.
Of course, it's an exciting place to be on the consulting bit of it. But there is this saying that Cobbler's kids sometimes don't have the shoes because we're so good at focusing on our clients that we forget that we gotta sort of keep building towards internally as well. But we're working through that.
Yes.
I can those poor cobblers. I mean, really, it's so bad. It's everybody wants shoes. Come on, man.
Well, okay. So I have another question for you. We've been talking a little bit about uncertainty and also just lots of changes within Credera, you building your team out as a leader, and this can be an experience you've had in the past or just something that you're always kind of tapping into. How do you help your team move through a really uncertain time? How do you address those fears, those concerns when some major change has happened within the organization, even things like acquisitions, mergers, things like that can cause some uncertainty. What is your approach as a leader for that when it comes to your team and other teams?
I mean, I'll take a page from your book, which is I focus on the neuroscience of what is driving the fear for my people. And it's, to me, it's usually, I will be great if you can validate that for me. People feel the way they feel is like when they're feeling alone, they're feeling burnt out, they are feeling what they're doing doesn't matter, does it not matter? Do I know that? So how I don't spend too much time inspiring people, but more about connecting with them. So when our people, including my team and our leaders, they feel seen, they heard, they feel trusted, they feel, wait, what we're doing does matter, and how does it matter? And even it could be as small an impact as just updating the spreadsheet. How does that ladder up to a bigger purpose? So bringing that perspective to the team and really saying that you're not in it alone. We're in it together, and this is how we're going to build on it together. I think that energizes people and gives them the strength to continue to move forward.
I 100% agree. And I really love how you put that. If I don't understand how what I do fits into the larger picture, then it is very easy for me to feel disconnected, left behind. I don't matter. I'm unvaluable. And so I love that you do that.
Well, and that immediately erodes culture. It erodes any kind of camaraderie between teams.
Distrust, all of those things.
I'm curious, knowing your background, Renu, and knowing that as a fellow nerd, you were a science major.
Math.
How does that background inform your leadership and kind of what you're doing in HR today?
That's interesting. I love that question.
I think that's where I uniquely placed, because I can apply logic, because coming from the background of applied mathematics and statistics, I'm rooted in the numbers. So I can connect with our CFO quickly. I know what you're saying. I'm not just about the people, but I bring the integrity, the people first. I say to my team, is like, we're the organization's conscious, and we're bringing that to the conversation. So having the people, the number background, and now adding that to the empathy and the people, I think that's what's helped me be successful and bring me where I am. Being able to talk the business talk with our CEO, being able to understand the numbers, how our clients pay us, why do they pay the way they pay, how our commercial models work, and how does that translate into our compensation philosophy and theories, and then how does that translate overall into an employee experience. So you connect all of that and create a people strategy based on that. I think it works out, has helped me quite a bit in my career.
I love that so much. I really, really do. I think that's a unique lens that you bring. Yeah. And it's really important that you kind of are, I guess, plugged into how that impacts things, because it matters. And it's so important to have that diversity of background, because it's going to bring something different than some other typical person that has been in the field and doesn't have that background.
Well, and people are so complex. I've got to believe every once in a while you're like, can we just go back to numbers? Because numbers there was an answer that I could get to, and not the complexity of human behavior.
People are not finite.
You'll find me, you send me a spreadsheet, I will get lost in it. My team knows if you've sent to the spreadsheet, I may not show up to the next meeting, because I do love a good spreadsheet. And simplifying it.
You are great. Speaking a language I cannot understand. Spreadsheets are my Achilles heel. Yeah. Okay, we have two more questions. The first question is, what is bringing you joy right now? What is inspiring you, making you happy? And it can be in work or in your personal life. It doesn't matter. Just something that is really bringing the joy and the warmth for you right now.
Oh, that's a great question, Gail. First of all, the sun is shining in New York. That is what's bringing me joy, because we've had so much rain. And so sun gives me the energy. On a personal front, I have two little girls. They're 7 and 10. So just spending time with them, and we just got back from a break and on vacation. And so I'm energized by my kids, even though in the moment they drain my energy. But overall, I'm energized by them. And then I'm really energized and excited about my team. I know I said that earlier, but I love the team. It's taken me 13 months to get to the team where I am today, but I'm so proud of the work that they're doing and so proud of what we're going to accomplish this year together. And we're all in it. And I feel it when I'm in the meetings with them. So that's giving me a tremendous amount of energy.
That's great.
That's so great.
I love that.
That's so great. You know what the last question is.
I do. So here's the last question. What is the best piece of advice, Renu, that you've ever been given? And what was the story for why you were given that piece of advice?
Oh, so I'm going to start with the story and then I'll weave in the advice in there. So I was born and raised in India. I moved here for college. And being born in, it was a very traditional Indian family, very much boys are the ones making decisions, girls sort of, you're over here, focus on your math and science and go to college and hopefully become a doctor or engineer. Like that was like, you keep doing that. So as I came to college, I was still a very quiet person because I just hadn't found my voice, didn't even know I had a voice. I remember my first job. I met this, he was the head of, actually second job. He was head of compensation for IPG at IPG Corporate. And we worked on some modeling together because we were establishing this new comp plan. And he goes, why don't you go present this to the CEO? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Me? I can't do that. That's not something it's even in me to be able to do that. And he was like, you know this model in and out. You've just explained it to me what you've done. Same exact thing, go do it with the CEO. I was like, well, no, that's the CEO of a corporate, a big public company. I can't. And he was like, and it's the belief in him believing in me more than I believed in myself. And I've carried that with me. It's believing in people more than they believe in themselves so that you can keep really tapped into their potential. And so in that moment, when I went up, I mean, the CEO didn't have any questions and it was really not a meeting. Like it was just, oh, great. I walked out. It wasn't about the meeting. It was more about having somebody else believing in me. So I bring that was the advice. It was not a direct advice, but it was more about somebody directly just making you feel like, oh, wait, I can do that. And when somebody does that, you tend to really want to, impress them or make them feel proud. And so I try to do that with my team now. And hopefully I'm doing a good job, but that's the advice is like believe in people more than they believe in themselves. And you'll be surprised by what they can do and accomplish.
I love that.
Fantastic.
That is a great story of empowerment and trust and great leadership, by the way, because, we have changed leadership to be more about leading from behind and being the leader that spotlights the team instead of themselves. And I really love that. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And that was like almost 22 years ago and we're still friends till today. He's retired and he's enjoying his golf time, but it's amazing to have the impact that he's had in my life.
Yeah, that's great.
Love it.
Well, Renu Hooda,
you've been amazing.
It's been a pleasure having you on Trailblazers today. Thank you so much for joining us for a little chat.
Thank you, Bruce and Gail. Thank you for having me and hope to see you soon.
Yay.
Same here. Take care.
Bye-bye.